Welcome to Italy! This is my first weekend in Venice, Italy as an au pair. It is September in 2022 and I just spent it exploring as much as I could while I had a little bit of time off and after I was getting over jet lag. I loved walking in this area and seeing the swans. It was like something out of a painting, but it was right outside the house that I was staying in. I also really wanted to explore this abandoned building. I never really knew what it was, and I only saw the outside of it because I think it would have been illegal to actually go in it, but it was so cool. How beautiful is this abandoned house? When we first went into the city, we started by taking a water taxi, which anyone can use. You just need a sort of transit card for it and you can load it up with how many rides you can get. So we used that to kind of start our sightseeing and to go to the girls' Nona's house. I was immediately in love with the water. Even though it was a very overcast day, it was still so nice and all of the people were so nice, of course. The architecture was so cool and my host mom was telling me about George Clooney getting married in one of these buildings. One of the first attractions I saw was the Rialto Bridge, which gives you the most beautiful view of the canal, and it also contains several shops as well as just being another example of the gorgeous architecture that is here in Venice. This is the gorgeous courtyard of the kind of apartment slash townhome style building where the Nona lived. It was really cool and clearly very old. While we were staying with the Nona, I had some time off to just explore Venice myself, so the majority of this video is just going to be vibes around Venice as we explore and take in as much as possible. This is my first look at the Piazza San Marco. It's one of the more famous squares in Venice. It is full of so much history, but I was just passing through on this day. This is the Bridge of Sighs, where prisoners would have their last view of Venice.
This was probably the coolest little free library I have ever seen. I decided to walk as far to the edge of the island as I could, and I was very surprised to see it so full of trees and what kind of looked like neighborhoods. I started my next day at the Acqua Alta bookstore, the most beautiful bookshop in the world, and apparently they have these little Venice stones hidden around Venice, so that was fun to see. But this store was so cool. It just had books of all kinds everywhere. They were along the shelves, they were in some crazy places like little boats, they were filling up bathtubs. And of course, they are also known for all of their little kitties running around. This is me trying to get a shot of myself in their little gondola that they had outside of the shop. It just goes to show the struggle of traveling alone.
And then I made sure to get a tour of the bell tower in the San Marco Square. It has the most amazing views in Venice, so I highly recommend it. Also, just looking at the outside, I'm obsessed with the intricate detail and the history of this bell tower itself. The first museum I went to was the Doge's Palace. Please forgive my pronunciation, but I could not stop just ogling at the ceilings, the intricate carvings, the beautiful paintings on the ceiling, on the walls, the floor, everywhere I looked. It was just absolutely gorgeous. The only thing about these really old museums is that they don't have a lot of artificial light because obviously the whole thing is art, so they are not just going to install light. So they really relied on the windows, and it was usually pretty dim even if they had some stand-up lights. So that is why it just looks so much better in person than it ever could on a recording. But still, hopefully you could see just how ornate and gorgeous and just how much they paid attention to detail, and they very obviously valued the arts and just creating these beautiful masterpieces. We even went down into the prisoners area, and these places were just very, very small. It was very interesting to see how small the people were back then. I am not very tall, and the ceilings were just above my head. They were also just, of course, very depressing areas. It was very interesting to see the contrast between this and the beauty of basically the entire rest of Venice. Here is me showing how short these ceilings actually are. And here is the prisoner's last view of Venice on the Bridge of Sighs. And that concludes my first weekend as an au pair in Venice.